Hi there, my name is Spielbeck, and you Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So Star Wars, we all have a bit of Star Wars. Actually, I remember very, very clearly. I must have been about 6 at the time. My father bringing home tickets to go see the first Star Wars in '77. I remember standing on the couch. I was like so excited. He made me read it because my reading was bloody horrible. Star Wars, and I was so excited, and that thrill really has never gone away. You know, it's a great. I mean, it's been dented a lot by some of the travesty which they call Star Wars, but it's never really gone away. So Star Wars really is a delightful fantasy adventure where you have an overpowered and beleaguered small ragtag resistance against an almighty, all-powerful empire that cannot be beaten and eventually overthrow them. So it seems a little bit ironic, a little bit ironic to me that the reality of Star Wars seems to be quite a lot that in my mind. We have Kathleen Kennedy is the emperor. She has seems to be willed complete power. Certainly failure has never been an object for her success, like never been a barrier to her success. Failed so insanely and incredibly massively. And that didn't matter. So then Jon Favreau comes along. He makes a little TV show. I guess nobody was really not watching at the time, as Star Wars was literally burning down, right? Burning like it was coming up to Rise of Skywalker, which everybody knew was going to be horrible, and Last Jedi, which basically everybody finally agreed, that didn't work out so well. That did not work out so well. And then The Mandalorian came, right? The Mandalorian came, and you know, I watched that whole first season, like gritting myself, you know, grabbing my my armrest, because is it going to go down the same awful route that, you know, the sequel? And it didn't. It seemed to really very much try to connect with what's made Star Wars work. What made Star Wars, which is, you know, in my estimation, I think good Star Wars works with when you make it basically aimed at 8-year-old boys. You make it aimed at 8-year-old boys, and things that 8-year-old boys will go, that is cool. You kind of get good Star Wars. When you make it for 8-year-old girls, no one's really interested, apart from, like, you know, this tiny clump of people on Twitter who feel it's very stunning and brave and proud. So anyway, that's the story going on. We have this incredible civil war going on, very much reflective of Star Wars itself. We're going to be reading about it. Before we get into it, can I ask you guys, can you hit the like button? That will be great. Can you hit the share button? Share button, fantastic. Hit the subscribe button. That's really unbelievably helpful. I don't think it's any secret that social media is a little bit skittish about independent voices in this day and age. And so, you know, if you hit the subscribe button, it really does help me. And I will say any other creator you like, or even, you know, you kind of like on the fence about, it just helps. It helps a lot. Commenting helps a lot, and I'm very appreciative. As a little bonus for anybody who subscribes, you get to enter my my weekly competitions. Prize this week is Mission Impossible 1, 2, and 3 box set. Bam. Now, just so you know, I bought this in Israel, so it's got all the Israeli packaging. Tom Cruise. That says Tom Cruise in Hebrew. Tom Cruise. The movies are in English, obviously. Yeah, you can watch the Hebrew subtitles, I guess, but they're all in English. To win this prize, you need to subscribe to the channel, which is the reason I'm giving out, and I got a whole stack of them. They are going out this week. I normally wait till I have a stack build up. Now I've got a stack build up. They're going out this week. Subscribe to the channel. Number 1, subscribe. Number 2, in the comments, leave the hashtag 5 seconds to self-destruct. 5 seconds. Now, you could be referencing Mission Impossible, or you could be referencing America in general. Who knows? I guess by the time you see this video, you will know better than me. Check out the video notes. All the information you need to win it is there. I'm going to the prize draw on Sunday, which I believe is the 17th. While you're in the video notes, go check out my Indiegogo. I am launching it. I'm so close to launching it. I just got to get some pricing on shipping, and then we're basically ready to launch. So these 2 graphic novels, they're freaking awesome. You get one of these 4 art cards if you join the email list, which is what I'm asking you to do right now. Join that email list. Thank you very much with any purchase, or you get a chaser one if you get the package with all 4 of the art cards in them. Fine. Let's talk about this story. From the incredible Bounding in Comics by John F. Trent. Thank you, John F. Trent. You know, honestly, I am thankful to John F. Trent every time. And he actually featured a couple of my videos, so I'm grateful there as well. But no, I'm thankful we have a space on the internet where you know, where it doesn't go along with the party line. It tells people what people like me think. So, new rumor claims to provide details about the alleged civil war inside Lucasfilm and Star Wars. I mean, that is alleged is kind of incredible. It does seem. You got the Kathleen Kennedy faction who were like behind Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker and the what's it called again? The High Frontier. What are they called? I can't remember. Whatever it is, it looks bloody awful. And you got the Jon Favreau who has a Mandalorian. Now he has the whole Mando universe going on. You know, Luke Skywalker's back, and that Luke Skywalker return. You know, it seems clear the Kathleen Kennedy faction were intent on destroying this iconic hero, right? They did not want to make him heroic, and I just don't think it went down that well, did it? Yeah, you know, I just don't think it went down too well. Fine, so let's read this rumor. And new rumor claims to provide details about the alleged civil war that's been ongoing within Lucasfilm and Star Wars. I mean, honestly, I don't understand how much of a civil war there could be if one person is in control of money and allocating funds, right? And it seems to be Kathleen Kennedy. Although, I don't know. I mean, like, her failure is really palpable. And even though you won't say anything openly, right? I mean, it would make sense in the boardroom. There are, you know, consequences for this just breathtaking failure. And Jon Favreau's breathtaking success. I mean, like, the night and day of them is just incredible. The rumor comes from WW Pro at Pirates and Princess, which is a pretty darn good source. You know, I like these sources that are not genre sources, but like more general Disney sources. So WD Pro was the leaker who first detailed the civil war within Lucasfilm on WDW Magic Forum. WDW Pro's initial scoop regarding the alleged civil war at Lucasfilm back in May 2020, he claimed there were two factions fighting for control of the studio, those behind Kathleen Kennedy and those behind Jon Favreau. The scooper explained the ongoing battle over Lucasfilm's direction continues, with Kathleen Kennedy and Jon Favreau's factions fighting over the studio. It's fairly well known at this point that there's a beef between Kennedy and Iger. The beef between Kennedy and Iger is real, given that Iger's quintessentially ignored her in his memoirs. I don't know. Listen, Bob Iger had like political aspirations. I think that's over, don't you? I mean, although he's down to be the ambassador to China under the new administration. That doesn't sound good, does it? That doesn't sound good. No. Okay. It's also hard to lose sight of how many projects Kennedy has seen fail at Lucasfilm. Yes, Star Wars Resistance, Star Wars Force of Destiny, Star Wars Galaxy Adventures, Solo, the sequel trilogy. Blimey. You know, ignorance is bliss. I didn't know. Now you say them out, I see it. Well, Favreau seemingly struck it out the park with The Mandalorian as a series with Disney Plus that even Iger was giving creative sessions for and taking notes for each episode. He went on to state, buried in the lead of the Waititi directing the new Star Wars film, which I don't know which side of the faction he would be on. He's a massive SJW, isn't he? Social Justice Warrior. But he's a very talented one too, you know, so I know. By the way, I really enjoy I enjoy pretty much everything he does that I've seen of his, but I really enjoyed What We Do in the Shadows, this like spoof vampire documentary. They make a TV show about it, which I like even more than the movie, but it's very good. It's worth checking out. Was confirmation of the female-centric Star Wars series being helmed by former Weinstein personal assistant Hedlund. Interesting. Listen, I'm more enthused about this than when I first heard about it. Yeah, look, everything she said sounded awful. But then you know, I balance that against the what was it, her TV show on Netflix called Russian Doll. I thought was very good. I thought it was inventive. I thought it was clever. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it wasn't lecturing. I thought it knocked it out the park, right? I thought it was reasonably good. If you're something weird in that vein, I recommend Maniac. That's freaking awesome, but that is weird as hell. And then she did an interview and said everything right. You know, I'm assuming she's lying. Right? But yeah, for me, I honestly, it seems to be that you can cram any obnoxious agenda into anything, and it works if you have talent behind it. And I think she might have talent, and I think she has the intelligence to at least say the right thing to us. Which is, you know, like, she feels very respectful to fans, even though there's going to be a female-centric. And look, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it being that sounds kind of cool, right? You know, I'm up for there being like a sexy red-skinned Sith lady adventures, you know? Yeah, well, that sounds cool. That's like, yeah, it all depends. It all depends. And I think, you know, this knee-jerk reaction, like, oh no, I'm definitely going to hate this. Is not good. You know, listen, you've got to expect it in Star Trek Discovery, or, you know, things that have been established to be awful, right? Yeah, the Rey saga. You just got things that are established to be just, yeah, absolutely awful. But, you know, somebody coming something new, which has a track record of doing something I think is good, and also have a giving interview where she spoke very well, I think, gives me hope. But be ready, because it almost looks certain that the new narrative being pushed by Kennedy loyalists in Lucasfilm, and that narrative is that Headland was only a personal assistant for 1 year. Who gives a crap? I mean, look, listen. If you're part of the awful Hollywood establishment, you know, like which you know. For their kicks, they seem to want to molest children and eat people, right? I mean, you see the Army Hammer thing. They just seem to be very bad people, right? You got to assume if she can survive in there and she can function in there, she's probably not the nicest person. But who gives a crap? Like, again, I want a Star Wars TV show to be entertaining. I don't give a crap about anything else, really, honestly. That being against her. And her series is misogynistic, mean, and unfair. That being against it, I don't even understand. This must be some kind of like Twitterati progressive anger at her they're talking about. WWE then Pro then claimed again this conflict. This is a conflict that Disney doesn't want. They don't want conflict over a hire that lavishly praised. Weinstein deleted hundreds of tweets, and then at the same time as the leak about her project, she made no turn on Iger and Eisner. Honestly, if she does all that, give her what she wants. And so what? She wants a stupid TV show? Give her what she wants. I mean, duh. You need content anyway. I mean, HBO Max is just like, they're suffering. I think HBO Max is going to be the first to go down. I do, all the streaming services. Finally, he concluded, or, you know, do you count CBS or Access? Is it even going to make it to the Paramount streaming service? I don't know. But all that said, Kenny has essentially gotten away time after time, outplaying Iger, even actually hammered by segments of the fans, mostly hiring and developing strong loyalty within a brand. That's true. Listen, yeah, no, these idiot creators who can't create anything, they know how to play politics. They know how to play internal politics, and she does it very well. Which is why I don't see her leaving anytime in the near future. Oh, see John Boyega. What? I feel so bad for John Boyega. You know, I listen. I think he's right to have a chip on his shoulder. He's a great character. It was a great actor, great performance that first one, and they just turned him into the joke. You know, there's this weird thing with like the Twitterati, the people who control TV. They want to have black people on TV. That's very important to them, but they don't want to have toxic masculine black people. And so every black man is kind of like this effeminate cuck, right? And so John Boyega, they really had you really saw the switch between Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker, right? No, Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. Like he became the comedy joke, you know, fell in love with. What was the attraction between like these two people? I hate it. Had Kelly Maine Tran, who walked around looking like a refugee from like a Asian candy wrapper. Does anyone she look like? Who scowled and looked like she was swallowing a wasp and was angry all the time and didn't like John Boyega. Like, what do they like about each other? But they liked each other, and they're ready to sacrifice each other by the end of the movie. Oh, for some reason. Now there are actually three factions within Lucasfilm. That's interesting. In reality, the behind the doors of Lucasfilm is a fractured studio with three ideological divisions. Now I'm interested. The big gun these Star Wars wars have, right? The scoop then also breaks down the factions. There are the old-timers who remember the days of George Lucas. They are apolitical, non-ideological artisans. I think that sounds like the Favreau contingent. For those, they have kept their heads down and tried to maintain themselves from being fired or disparaged by the Kathleen Kennedy crew. Next, he discusses the Kathleen Kennedy faction. The Kathleen Kennedy crew, on the other hand, are higher since 2012. The ones who held the keys to the sequel trilogy have now been relegated to the comic book releases and young adult novels for good bloody reason. I mean, really, such incredible failure is breathtaking. Finally, he describes the third faction as a Favreau. Okay, so that's interesting. That's interesting. So, like, the people who just remember the old days and, yes, want to make, you know, tons and artisans and sit down kind of work and don't want to, like, I'll just do my work, leave me alone. That's the first thing. You got Kathleen and now you got Jon Favreau. Let's see what separates the Jon Favreau one from the Star Wars traditionalists. The third group is a Favreau-Filoni bunch. Because I always get the vibe that Filoni is way in the Kathleen Kennedy camp. Like, he praises Rian Johnson to the high heavens, right? And he has a lot of, like... I mean, listen, that last series of Clone Wars they put out on Disney+, they had 4 episodes, which was very, very good. You know, you had the 3 or 4 final episodes, which was like a parallel movie to... what's it? Not Attack of the Clones, the one afterwards. What the hell was that? What's episode 3 called? Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, whatever the third one is. Who gives a crap? Yeah, and but other than that, I mean, the Ahsoka Tano stuff was just real. It was like he had a 3 or 4 episode arc, which should have been called Ahsoka Tano's Lesbian Awakening, which is essentially what it was. Like, she left the Jedi Academy and she found herself on, like, the lower levels of Coruscant with these 2, like, space Hispanic lesbian chicks. Clearly fixing cars. And that's what it was. You had the Bad Batch, which I kind of liked as well. But, you know, Filoni does seem a bit very Kennedy-esque to me. This news is comprised of Favreau loyalists brought in to generally work outside the concepts of Lucasfilm. They get to bypass Kennedy and the Kathleen Kennedy crew, and their budgets come straight from the top of Disney. You mean their budgets are things that actually make money, right? Things that people want. Now, whether or not these factions are actually at war, I don't think they're warring. I mean, honestly, I think the Kathleen Kennedy faction is somewhat at war because, you know, I've never seen such a relentless dislike of the unlike that I do see in, like, the social justice warrior type people, the Twitterati type people, which the Kathleen Kennedy people are. There's a complete intolerance of anybody who doesn't see everything the exact same way they do, and the minute you step out of line, you will be cancelled. So yeah, it's not really tenable. Now, whether or not these factions are actually at war with each other or over the direction of Star Wars and Lucasfilm isn't necessarily proven in the scoop. In fact, it appears that WGN Pro actually argues that the Civil War ended with Kathleen Kennedy's sequel trilogy films, specifically after The Last Jedi was rejected by the movie-going public. Well, listen, that'd be great if it was true, wasn't it? But it's not really what I mean. She's still there, right? She's still there. She was still the person announcing it. We had what a flat presentation. We have 8 new series for Disney Plus, and we have whatever. As we reported, fans abandoned Star Wars, not just in theaters with Solo becoming the first Star Wars film to bomb in the box office, but also in merchandise sales. That's taking a real hit. And even more, even their new Star Wars theme Disney parks weren't bringing people. They were doing and apparently they're being rebranded as Mandalorian, which sounds like a very smart move to me. With the Star Wars brand in decline following The Last Jedi, WWE Pro claims that Disney decided to give Jon Favreau complete control over the Mandalorian. Yeah, okay. Did I throw the second season of the first? I don't know. Listen, I really like Katie Sackhoff in it. She was freaking awesome. I wasn't thrilled with Ahsoka Tano, but I really got to watch that episode again. Just because I don't think Rosario Dawson sold it to me that she was the same character, right? Her body language just seemed off. But I'll watch again. It was a solid episode, right? It was a solid episode. Yeah, okay. And now we got, Book of Boba Fett coming next, and the Ahsoka Tano show, and Rangers of the New Republic, which is supposed to be the Gina Carano show. She bends a knee to the trans activists, whatever. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff coming up, but they're all supposed to be building up to like an Avengers joining of series of universes with a Luke Skywalker series. That's according to a rumor from Doomcock. Well, I guess they would have to recast, right? Maybe actually, you know what? If they want to go for an alternate, like a non-Last Jedi future, you could have an older Luke Skywalker in the Jedi Temple, looking back, and then you get to see the story and like how he got there and how it. That would be cool, right? And get old Luke Skywalker, and then basically like they did with the J.J. Abrams Star Trek with Spock, which movie I still quite liked. I still quite like it. The Force Awakens as well. In a rare move made to give Favreau complete power over the Mandalorian, Kennedy would only provide him with notes that she could not dictate anything about the series. That's interesting. Listen, it seems the inclusion of a heroic Luke Skywalker would bear that out, right? That seems like the way the way they were going to go. Then the success of The Mandalorian, WW Pro claims Favreau's faction became ascendant, while Kennedy became embittered over the success of the Star Wars property she had no control over. Her story group essentially had been guarded. Yeah, listen, a story group, from the rumor which I believe, wanted to get rid of there being a strong white male heroic lead. They don't like that. He then goes on to detail that Kennedy continued to work on a series within Star Wars that she would have no theatrical releases, and Favreau complete control over whatever to do with the brand. That's interesting. Next WW Pro claims that the ultimate catastrophe of Kennedy came with the loss of Steven Spielberg as the director of Indiana Jones 5. Why are they doing Indiana Jones 5? Really? I mean, I watched Temple of Doom about 4 or 5 months ago. It's a perfect movie. It's wonderful. Don't make any more. You're not getting. He's too old. King of the Crystal Skull was not good. Don't do any more. No. The Scuba States. This was a stinging rebuke because it meant the man who had originally brought her into the fold had abandoned her. Kennedy's first major role has been as Steven Spielberg's assistant on the original Indiana Jones. Now, decades later, she had lost his confidence. Well, really? I'm like how much? What else would she need to do to lose his confidence? Like, if he hadn't lost the confidence now, what if she just walks around Lucasfilm taking a dump on the ground? Like doing that, like, what would that do the trick? I don't know. However, there are some major points that are missing in the WW Pro analysis. If Favreau's faction is ascendant and Kennedy is not supposed to be getting any theatrical releases, then what faction does Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins' newly announced Rogue Squadron fall under? Damn good question. Damn good. I have to tell you, I've gone backwards and forwards on that one. They first announced that movie, I was like, I have no interest at all. Then I saw that trailer she did where I was like, that's awesome. It's a personal story. Sounds fantastic. Sounds like you're knocking out the park there. And then I saw Wonder Woman 84, which was, let's face it, dire. Absolutely dire. The assumption that Jenkins is a Kennedy hire, given significant changes to Wonder Woman in Wonder Woman 84, that include the removal of Diana using a sword and shield and being in any way sexy, to combat criminals and villains, as well as the inclusion of the I can't say his name because I don't want Twitter, I don't want anything to blow up, but yeah, the current president of the United States for the next few days, stand-in villain as Maxwell Lord, Pedro Paz and Maxwell Lord. The Rogue Squadron, who ended up being the hero of the movie, by the way, weirdly enough. The Rogue Squadron film is a major missing piece in the WW Poe analysis. Indicates Kennedy is not the powerless figure to make Saturday. Very good point. Very High Republic, that's what it's called again. God, look at this crap. I mean, really? Yeah. Does that look like something is going to make any interest in an 8-year-old boy? No. It's made for 8-year-old girls, and yeah, exactly. It's going to be awful. Kelly also appears to be helming the Obi-Wan Kenobi series as well as the Cassian Andor series. So, you know, I'm going to make a suggestion. It's not all-out war. It's not all-out war. I think there is a power struggle. I think Jon Favreau has the keys to do what he wants with the Mandalorian universe. And I believe he pulled in Luke Skywalker to try and change the course. And I think it's very much to the chagrin of the Kathleen Kennedy's faction story group. But there is a business. They have to work together. So I do think that the Obi-Wan series, the Cassian Andor series, she's somewhat subordinate to Jon Favreau. Somewhat subordinate, but I think they need to work together. So I think you would see a war happen if in either of those series she wanted to destroy Luke Skywalker again, right? Say no, we're 100% going to the sequel trilogy, but it seems to be that the Jon Favreau probably has the ability to create an alternate timeline, right? It seems to me that he's probably in place to do. Not to mention the High Republic Publishing Group, publishing initiative, the WW Close that the Lucasfilm Story Group has been relegated to, is more likely involved in Leslie Headland's Acolyte series, which is supposed to take place at the end of the High Republic. Again, I can see that. Yeah, that sounds about right. But I have a. Listen, she's done enough, Headland, that I'm going to go into it with an open mind, right? I'm going to watch WandaVision as well. I'm looking forward to watching that with an open mind. Review, I think I'm going to do the review live tomorrow afternoon. So while they really relegated publishing initiative at Disney Plus, streaming shows are being made to connect with the initiatives. Good question. Maybe the most interesting part of Pro's analysis is that he claims Favreau is in complete control of the Mandalorian, and he even rejects suggestions from her. He claims that in one set of notes she recommended going with Boba Fett as a lead character right out the gate. Favreau overrode that. Yeah, listen, I think you need something a bit younger. The only thing I'm concerned about the Boba Fett series is he seems a little bit long in the tooth, right? He seems a little bit long in the tooth. He's got a bit of a dad bod going on. He uses this to point to Kennedy's lack of creative control, but earlier in his analysis, he also claims that Rian Johnson had similar creative control with The Last Jedi. I guess so. I mean, I don't think anybody really cared, but Kathleen Kennedy was like, yeah, you're going to destroy Luke Skywalker, that's great. Do what you want. Pro Clones claims that while Abrams had worked on a script with Kasdan on the Force Awakens script, which was, I think, probably why it was good, Johnson was working with the Lucasfilm Story Group in a way that not even J.J. Abrams was aware. For weeks, Rian Johnson would meet up with Kiri Hart's Story Group behind closed doors, planning out a detour for The Last Jedi. Yeah, okay. Yeah, a detour from popularity. Johnson even admits that he had creative control in an interview with Sci-Fi Wire. Yeah, but he might be lying, right? He might be lying. He told them it was very open. It ended up feeling in some strange way very similar as to when I've written my other films, in that there was a lot of space and freedom. Okay, well, good for you. Good for you. We are always carrying the characters forward from the first movie, and we're starting off from events from the first movie, and there's a trajectory to it to make sense. They would go in this direction next, but in that concept, it felt like the movie that I cared about. It was really nice. It was a really nice writing experience. It was a freaking awful viewing experience, mate. Absolutely awful. Then he went on to detail how he worked with the story group. I actually moved up to San Francisco so I could meet a couple of times with the folks at the Lucasfilm. They call it their story group with SVP of Development Kiri Hart and a bunch of folks. I would go down and throw everything I was thinking of up on the whiteboard, and they would talk about it. That took away so much of the fear, I think. Believe me, you're in the wrong echo chamber, mate. I'm not feeling alone in the process. Yes, there are more people who are morons. Yes, so congratulations. But maybe the biggest piece of evidence that WWE Pro leaves out of the analysis is the claim from Favreau that Mandalorian was built to the First Order. The biggest piece of evidence that WWE leaves out of his analysis is a claim from Favreau that Mandalorian will build to the First Order, an organization introduced in the sequel trilogy. Well, that disproves him completely then, doesn't it? Back in 2019, back in 2019, perhaps he was just saying what he needed to say, right? Maybe now he's got a little bit more freedom. Favreau spoke with Entertainment Weekly and stated, also, what could happen in 30 years between the celebration of the defeat of the Empire and the First Order? You come in, you come in on episode 7 of the First Order. It's not starting out, and they're pretty far along. So somehow things weren't necessarily managed as well as they could have been, and the galaxy ended up in hot water again like that. Okay, could he be talking about our world as well? I think they probably could. From the outside looking in, there does appear to be a civil war raging in Lucasfilm. I don't know. After this, you kind of convinced me not. It kind of convinced me there are 3 factions, I believe. There are people who just want to be left alone and do the work. There are people who want to, hate masculinity. And there are people who like Star Wars, right? And they all kind of being forced to work together. Jon Favreau has had success right now, so he's essentially in control. But it feels like Kathleen Kennedy's still very much there, and her projects are dovetailing into Favreau's projects. I don't think they're going to be allowed to contradict them, right? I don't think they're going to be allowed to but I think they're dovetailing together. And I think, listen, it seems reasonable to me that they would create a different branch, a bit different timeline, and then both can exist. That seems to be a way out of it. So the other thing, the company appears to be operating as the same as since Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. Creators are still lacking. Still attacking and deriding Star Wars fans. Yeah, was it that guy's name? I can't remember. But yeah, and the current production are putting out has the same, if not flaws, as the sequel trilogy. Those flaws aren't actively insulting you like Admiral Hodo or Luke Skywalker cutting himself off. Admiral Hodo was terrible, wasn't he? But worse still, okay? Worst offense for me with the sequel trilogy was the killing of Admiral Akbar for no bloody reason, and the medical frigate. I mean, like, that really broke my heart, seeing the medical frigate being destroyed, and the boring slow motion chase. It was just freaking awful. Going to the dark side, and abandoning his nephew to the dark side, and even attempting to kill him. Yeah, listen. I think there's been one or two missteps. One or two missteps in the Star Wars universe. That is absolutely true. Is there a civil war going on? I just want good Star Wars, man. I just want good Star Wars. Is that too much to ask? I just want good Star Wars. It strikes me that the financial realities of the Kathleen Kennedy approach have proven to be untenable, but they kept their jobs and now they're trying to keep in line. And I think they're trying to, I think they have to be somewhat subordinate in terms of story to Jon Favreau. That's my guess. That is my guess. But you know what? What do I bloody know? This is just my analysis. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Commenting is good. It's very helpful. I try to reply to each and every one of your comments. My name is Cedar Beckin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.